What is going on, guys? JAlLED here. Shout out to everyone that's tuning in. I want to talk about Kevin Porter Jr. Kevin Porter Jr. has gotten himself in trouble. I don't know what's going to happen next, but apparently, according to reports, and I'm going to get into it, he was out and his girlfriend decided to lock the door. But he got into the hotel room. And they had an altercation, and she was seen running out of the hotel room and asking for someone to call the authorities. And he was arrested. They said they found a laceration under her eye, her face was bleeding, and he was arrested. And this prompted Dwyane Haskins' widowed wife, the late Dwyane Haskins, his wife, to come out because that was her sister. Now, her sister's name, I think, is Kysre, Gondrezick. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a very European name. That's Kevin Porter Jr.'s girlfriend, and her sister is the one who put out this particular IG story where she added Kevin Porter Jr. and she said, if you think you're gonna touch my sister and not get touched, count your effing days. Better hope and pray you'll be able to ever walk again, let alone dribble. You may have gotten away with this shit in the past cause your mama ain't beat your butt, but we spank little punk ass painting nails sissy bees like you every day. Don't show up to that crib. We gonna do it to you, Lil B. Now, again, I want to stress that the woman who put up this post is the sister of Kysre. This is how I pronounce her name. And she is the wife of the late Dwyane Haskins. And she's making a verbal threat to Kevin Porter Jr. Let me just say this, and I want to make this perfectly clear. I do not agree with domestic violence. I have said it over and over and over again. If you have to put your hands on a woman, that's not your woman. If it gets to the point to where you're getting physical with each other, you need to walk away. These two, Kevin Porter Jr. and Kysre, needs to not date each other anymore because it's very obvious it's a toxic relationship, and maybe they've gotten into it before. We don't know the full details, which is why I'm not going to sit here and condemn this guy, because we don't know the full details. Again, she was mad because he was out doing whatever, and she was so mad that she locked the door. Once again, it's not like he just came back and started wailing on her. There are other things that may have been going on that we don't know yet, but the fact that her sister is making this threat publicly. This is the second woman that I have seen come out publicly and make a threat towards a man. Eli Apple's baby mama made a threat because she claims that he had done something. So she says she's putting a bounty on his head and she hopes that he gets hurt. Women are making verbal threats and nobody's taking it seriously. Now, there are people on Twitter who are going in on her because this is your husband lost his life. You were the grieving widow, and now you're acting like you're some sort of mob boss, like you're gonna break his kneecaps. Because I'm telling you something right now, if anything happens to him, you're going to be blamed for it. And you know what's so funny? Kalabriya, that's her name, Kalabriya, Dwyane Haskins' wife, she was arrested for putting hands on him. So this is why I'm not gonna fully condemn Kevin Porter Jr. because Kalabriya, the one who's making this threat, this open threat to Kevin Porter Jr., she was arrested for putting hands on Dwyane. And you know what Dwyane Haskins did? He married her. So she's violent. She ain't got no problems putting her hand on a man, at least a black man. But, you know, we see why. And again, this is a side note. I want y'all to get all the information here about this person's character. There's a reason why Dwyane Haskins' parents don't deal with her. And there's a reason why Dwyane Haskins' ex-girlfriend doesn't like her, because she's a person who has a violent streak. She's a person who seemingly has burned bridges, and she has put her hands on, at the time, I don't think they were married. She put her hands on Dwyane Haskins and nothing happened. I believe he dropped the charges, punched him in the face, right? And here you go, you have her making a public threat towards Kevin Porter Jr. Because I'm telling you right now, if anything happens to him, she's gonna be in trouble. And I saw something on social media, and again, I'm not saying that is right, but there were people trying to make the correlation between what happened with Dwyane Haskins and her, because, you know, Dwyane Haskins was in South Florida training, and apparently he was going out and he ended up getting robbed. It was a very weird situation. It's very weird how he ended up getting robbed, drugged and robbed. Like, why would that happen to him? And then we all know what happened next. And there are people making it seem like she might have set that up. I'm not saying she did, but that is the talk that I am seeing on social media. Kalabriya should not be saying this publicly. She should keep her mouth shut. Let your sister in the legal system handle that. Tell your sister to leave this man alone. If she can, I'm telling you this right now, if Kysre continues to deal with Kevin Porter Jr., all these threats mean absolutely nothing. It means that your sister wasn't fazed by that quote unquote beating. This should be her separating herself from Kevin Porter Jr. This should be Kevin Porter Jr.'s way of separating himself from her, so we don't have this situation again. But we've all seen how Kalabriya, the late Dwyane Haskins' wife, how she put hands on him and he went and married her. These two sisters might be very violent. Maybe because he was the one that got arrested and not her sister, she thinks that, maybe her sister did in fact get beat up by this guy. We don't know. I understand her being upset, but for her to make open threats publicly and feel like, she can do it, there's not going to be any pushback. There is pushback. You were just crying tears last year when Dwyane Haskins lost his life. And now you're making open threats and you're calling people sissies, talking about how he paints his fingernails. Well, your sister didn't have any problem with him painting with his fingernails because she was in a relationship with him. I'm gonna reiterate this. I do not support domestic violence. As a man, you should never have to hit your woman ever. And if it gets to the point to where you're both getting physical with each other, you better walk away and never look back, especially when you have a career to lose. But we don't know all the details. We don't know all the details. She could have hit him and he could have retaliated. This might be something that has gone on in this relationship for quite a long time. What Kalabriya posted on IG might show that there's a history of back and forth between these two. But I'm not going to sit here like some of these guys and say, oh, he needs to be kicked out of the league. We need to find out more before we jump to... I don't even think people knew it was Kalabriya's sister until Kalabriya posted this post on IG, because in the reports, they didn't have her name. Well, in especially the TMZ report, maybe some other ones do now, but didn't have her name. Now, she the one that put it out there. But I find it ironic that Kalabriya is talking about how, he's putting his hands on her sister when she punched Dwyane Haskins in the face and she got arrested. She has a mugshot. She has a mugshot after she hit her own husband in the face. The pot calling the kettle black. You are an abuser just like Kevin Porter Jr. is allegedly. Some people may say it's karma because you put your hands on Dwyane and then somebody allegedly has put hands on your sister. Again, I do not support domestic violence. If it gets to that point, you need to leave. But let's be real, she was upset at him for being out all night. And let me just say this about these young NBA players. A lot of these young NBA players are wifing up females in the prime of their lives. Why are you doing that? Why don't you just casually date? The Derek Jeter model. Derek Jeter dated girls, but he wasn't trying to wife them up. And I think those women knew that and they were okay with it. Y'all trying to wife these chicks up. These chicks are getting jealous. Look at Kysre. She's not an ugly girl at all, but she's deeply insecure to the point to where she's locking him out of the house because he's coming back to the hotel late. Like, what are you doing? Why, if you're that insecure, you need to leave. Why stay in a relationship with a guy that is making you this insecure? Ultimately, these two need to leave each other alone. And Kalabriya needs to keep her mouth shut. She's been jailed for domestic violence. She's a domestic violence abuser, so she needs to keep her comments to herself and her threats to herself before she gets visited by the police. So let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Like this video and share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, Patreon. Subscribe to all my other channels. I'll see y'all in the next one. Y'all take care.